You recently just owned a PlayStation 2, one of the legendary consoles. However, you know that in the internet there are those who already added extra features to their PS2, like I did here. Let me tell you what are the things that you really need so you can avoid from spending too much unnecessary things for your PS2. You're going to need a hard disk expansion module. Mine is GameStars that don't have any actual network connectivity. A minimum of 500 GB of hard disk. SATA is recommended because PATA is becoming very rare and not worth it anymore. Memory card is very essential. At least one 8 MB is mandatory for every PS2 system, and a capacity of 64 MB of memory card to back up your game saves. Having two physical memory cards is highly recommended for things that I'm going to explain later. As for video output, I recommend having at least one of these or both video upscaler module so that you can play your PS2 over any monitor. These two are AV to VGA, which is composite to VGA output. Another is AV to HDMI, composite to HDMI. They can output between HD or Full HD, but actual video is still based on the composite itself. PS2 to HDMI upscaler is highly recommended because this utilizes component videos which has more resolutions compared to composites. Do take note that all of the pins shown here must be present, else it is not component. Unfortunately, all of these upscaler modules uses USB Mini B, which is annoying. This one is an extra but useful to have around. You can ignore AV to VGA, the white upscaler module earlier. Make sure this one has 3.5mm audio jack output for audio. Next part is the only software you need, both for PC and PS2 side. For PC side, you need HDL Batch Installer by Al Ezra to add image to the PS2, OPL Manager for finding image arts and its settings, PSV Save Converter if you want to download save games, and finally PFS Batch Kit Manager, which can do batch operations. It is recommended to use PFS Batch Kit Manager if you're still new, although I didn't use this software when I first got into this. But it is better to avoid WinHip tools completely, as it is known to cause problems in the long run. This software also offers boot entry point to install extra features to your PS2, and it also detects hard disks that are not your internal system's hard disk, so you won't be formatting the wrong hard disk accidentally, but better make sure just in case. For PS2 side, you need FMCB 1.966. It is the final version when this video was created. Install it to your hard disk and memory cards for backup purposes. Then you are going to need OPL. 1.1.0 is stable. 1.2.0 build 2023 is the latest beta recommended. Pet test is just an extra tool to test controller directly on PS2. WLaunch ELF 4.43x by Al Ezra is the latest tool to upgrade once you install FMCB to your PS2. The following footage are side-by-side comparison between composite versus component video. These videos are shot directly in front of my Samsung Sigmaster S23B350 LED monitor. Both setup uses the HDMI to VGA converter. Composite uses the black AV to HDMI, while component uses PS2 to HDMI converter. Although there aren't much difference between these two footage, but there are differences shown later in the video. I also going to explain why you would need two physical memory cards, especially 8 and 64 MB is highly recommended. The reason being is somewhat simple, being that there are games that works with specific setups. Prime example would be Resident Evil 4. The game refuses to save your data over any virtual memory card, no matter what capacity of the VMC you set it to. It's just not going to work at all. Another would be Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Plus. It won't save the data on any physical memory card that are larger than 8 MB of capacity, though I haven't even tried to use VMC on this game yet. So far, these are the only two games that requires physical memory cards. However, using VMC is highly discouraged, simply because it is prone to get the game save data corrupted. Yeah, I got few game save data corrupted at the very same day, like after few hours of gameplay, so I don't use VMC anymore. Another reason is also that my LED monitor simply refuses to take any non-full HD resolution that's coming from the PS2 to HDMI upscaler. Hence, I had to use the GSM feature to drive the signal to full HD so that it will be shown on my LED monitor. However, if you were to play on any display that only can accept composite signal, then this GSM with full HD settings won't work. That is why having two memory cards with one of them having auto GSM settings and another with full HD, you can play your PS2 over any display, be it monitor or a TV, simply just switching over the memory cards with these GSM settings. At first, I thought my PS2's electronic component has degraded just because how bad the composite looked. I was wrong in that regards after I got the PS2 to HDMI module. This part of the footage shows significant differences between composite versus component. You can see it on the small details like the grain textures shown here, which does look bad on composite. What other games I'm going to play? I'm not sure just yet. So far, I got about 20 to 40 games in my PS2, and it uses about 250 GB of hard disk space. It highly depends on what games you put, because there are those takes more space compared to the others. That's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and find this video useful. Please have a good day ahead, and thank you for watching.